Hi, welcome to the Festival of the Earth here in Wakefield and to Wakefield Museums and Castles. So what we're going to be doing today in this series about greenware is something called pollution pods. So what I want to think about today is how we get a handle on something we just can't see, all this pollution that's around. So I'm going to start with the clay making things. I make things in Greenware, which is unfired clay. And we've got just such amazing spaces in and around Wakefield where we can gain inspiration. So to get outside, have a look at wonderful nature. So all the parks, all the castles and the museums and all of these spaces and nature reserves. There's a long list at the end of the workshop materials that go with this, if you'd like to think about that. But today, we're going to be making pollution pods. I've chosen the idea of pods because pods are things where these sort of things are happening, and it's a new way of maybe thinking about how we can get our heads around the pollution that's around us and maybe have a think about it in maybe a less scary way, so that it becomes more visible. So we're going to be making one of these pods. Now on this pod, I'm hoping you might be able to see just the surface of it, but I've written you need to be very near it, but I've been writing into this one. For the pollution pods that we're going to make, we're just going to make numbers of little seeds which represent the amount of pollution in a certain area on a certain day. So I'll come on to that, and you're thinking, well, how do I know how much pollution there is? I can't see it, but we have a way of actually recording it. It's very interesting, which I'll go through when we've talked about what we need to make the pods. What you'll be wanting is one of these sort of flat things. You're not going to use it again from a wooden spoon or something flat that you can just gently tap the clay with. Cocktail stick, careful at the end. Some clay. I've actually made some. I'll show you how to make the sausages, and a bit more small bit of clay. Unfortunately, it's all wrapped in plastic because, as I've said in the other videos, I just reuse plastic and try not to get any new stuff. So unfortunately, clay comes wrapped in plastic because it keeps the moisture in. Once you've got air to it, it starts drying out. So, and I sometimes use these things, which are these beeswax covers, but you may not all have them. And you need access to a bit of water here. And then for this, I've just got a collection of things that I love from the garden, but what we're going to be doing is planting little seeds. So I have actually some very, very small mustard seeds here, which probably can't see. So they're going over my laptop. I'll leave that and show you the packets. Any seeds will do. So you might have some cornflower seeds. You might, but these sort of cress seeds or mustard seeds are great. So we'll use them as we go along. So that's what you'll be needing to make. The other thing, which is on the resources, is that DEFRA have got a website where they record the pollution levels basically across the country. And if you go to that, you can go on the website and keep going in and find out what the local site to you is actually recording for the pollution levels for that day. And there is all sorts of information too about what these pollutants are, because they're all different. But one of them that they record generally all of the pollutants, which is carbon dioxide, nitric oxide, all of these things. And there are readings. So in Wakefield, it's quite interesting when you go in there. The recording points are at Castleford, Park Street and Newton Bar. So I've actually downloaded for the 16th of May all the pollution levels in those areas. And it comes out as an Excel spreadsheet, something like this. It's all very interesting because you can actually find out, either for groups of days or a day or a particular time, what the pollution levels are and can compare. So for this exercise, because that's something really interesting to do, and I've done it actually for lots of different places now, because people go, well, how do you know that? And it's available to all of us. I'm going to actually make a pollution pod for the 16th of May, for when I found the recording for Castleford, where their site is, and you can see exactly where it is on the map, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it actually was 9.8. Interestingly, on that day, it was 8.08 at 10 o'clock in the morning. By the time it got to the afternoon in Castleford, this pollution level had gone up to 16.7. So actually, you could do 3 pods, one which showed the morning, one which showed the middle of the day, and one which showed the afternoon. In the afternoon, if you imagine it, would have 16 little seeds growing in it. On the middle of the day one, only 9. So we're going to pick the middle of the day one and make a pollution pod for Castleford, the 16th of May, with 9.8 pollution level. I'll make it 10, round it up. So what we're going to do is make one of these. What you will need is a small ball of clay. So you're going to make a base which is very small. It only literally needs, it's not much bigger than a postage stamp is what we're going to do. And we're going to build it up. So you only need a tiny bit of clay, and you're going to roll it in your hand like this. And then you're just going to flatten it there. So you've just got a disc shape. And then I'll show you how to make some sausages. You need to make maybe a number of these as we're going. I've made them before because there isn't time to keep making them. You do this by just rolling the clay in your hand like this. So you've got a nice long sausage, about the width of a pencil. So what we're going to do is I've got a whole load of sausages I've made here so that I can crack on and we can make this pollution pod with 10 little seeds in. To take the base, and what we're going to do is we're going to go in a circle, first bit of it, just going to go round like that. Just get it onto the edge. And it's quite warm in here, so I'm going to work at speed because the clay tends to dry out. And what we're going to do is sort of go in and basically out a bit and then in terms of the coiling. So we're going to bring this out a bit now, and so you do this by leaning it on the edge, and so it's just sticking out a bit, and we carry on round like that, so that then we just keep coming out a bit till we've done sort of a third one. So you can see there, it's just coming out a bit. And then this technique we've got, we're going to rest that on the palm of my hand, and I'm just going to take my nail and just smooth this in. Just moving one coil into the bottom of the clay, just gently, and then start at the next level. Just go round, gently moving the sausage into the next sausage. And when you go around museums, you can see fired work, which is vitrified when it's all been fired and it lasts forever. This way I could put this clay back and it would dissolve literally back into the earth if I wanted. But you can often see finger marks. So now I've made it's going slightly outwards. So I'm going to put my finger in there, just move it all, and actually turn it upside down now, my finger inside there, and just smooth the edges down with my thumb, like this. So it's becoming a knife. Don't worry if it's not looking perfect at this stage, it won't do. It's just to get the general gist. We've got the clay is so soft and malleable that we can knock it into shape, literally, when we've got it. So we've got something that is going up. Then we're going to bring it a bit taller and into a dome shape. So I'm going to start putting this more on the inside edge to bring it round. I'm just making a small dome in this case. So you can see it's a bit inwards now. I'm going to take another sausage and bring it in again so that I've got two there. And you can see it's sort of making a pod shape. And then I'm doing this thing with my finger and just smoothing it down gently. The sort of thing that, you know, it's a bit fiddly, but it comes together, and the rewards are wonderful. You get these living pods. So there we go. It's a very rough pod shape, and it's got a little hole at the top. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little tap on the bottom, and then I'm going to sort of tap it round, sort of just tap it gently, moving it round, sort of working upwards the first few coils, making it flatter. Just going to... And then as I go round, you can see the movement. I'm pushing it in. I'm going round like that from the bottom, and I'm then going round to the top. I'm going from the bottom, and I'm going round from the top. And round. And it's becoming a pod. So now I've got a bit of a pod shape, but now I want to take my fingers to it. I've decided, yes, it needs some help now, and I'm going to smooth it out. I want a nice, smooth out those surfaces, give it a bit of help along, smooth round to keep getting my pod shape. And I'm going to go back to the tapping. More tapping round here, a bit more tapping round here. And you can carry on like this. And what you'll find is when you're not short of time, you can take, you know, it might take you a while, might take you a quarter of an hour, it might take you half an hour. So this isn't going to be a perfect one, because I'm sure you don't want to sit and watch me tap the pod for, well, hours and hours. So I'm doing a final smooth just to get, but you can see there that I'm getting a pod. And this is going to be, you know, if I was doing it for a very long time, it would be something like this. It would be perfect pod shape. I just keep going until I got my perfect pod shape. So this shows you what I'm aiming for. And at the top, I'm just going to move it into a small little hole where I'm going to put the thing that I love most, to celebrate the fact that I know about the Castleford afternoon and that I'm aware of it, and that it draws people to have a look at what I'm doing, and they'll say, what's that? And I'll say, that's the Castleford pollution level on the 16th of May at 1 o'clock. And it's an interesting way of starting a conversation. So there we go. And then when I'm going to I'm going to take my cocktail stick, I'm just going to put it in the middle and make a knife. I'm going to smooth out the opening. I want it nice and round in the top. I want it to look beautiful. The pollution is not beautiful, but maybe the thinking where we can all go, okay, so how are we gonna resolve that? That's the sort of beautiful growing idea, that we can make inroads into it. And what our Festival of the Earth is all about is we know about this, and how can we think about it? What can we do? And also, when the exhibition is on about Waterton, we have the most amazing naturalist who actually did think about a lot of these subjects way ahead of his time. So that's another gift. Right, so there's our neat little hole. So what I'm going to do is get my cocktail stick, and I'm going to put 4 sweet pea seeds in, and try and do 6 barley seeds, because this barley, it makes the most amazing decoration. I collected this last year, and if I take 6 of these, it will make a different sort of decoration on the pod, and actually is in all likelihood will germinate into barley. So here we go. If you want to see a germinated barley seed, if you go to the Make Your Living Sculptures video, you'll see it. There's one that's germinated. So I'm going to make 4 holes round the top. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the sweet peas. And I'm going to make 6 underneath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the barley. Here we go. I've got these tiny, I'm going to put you down here so you can see I've got these tiny sweet pea seeds, and I'm going to put those in the top. I'm going to just put them in there. 1, 2, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to photograph this in a week's time and then 2 weeks' time, and we'll see what's happened to it, and maybe we can have that might get onto Twitter or on somewhere from the museum, and we'll see what's happened to it. I'm actually going to put these here, these seeds. I might shorten them a bit. I've decided on the design side, I want them a bit shorter than their stalks. Then I'm going to put that in there, like so. And just do the 6. Now, while I'm doing this, I may say that there are all these other things that you can decorate your pollution pod with. There's leaves and petals. And in my other videos, I've done a lot of work on this. So if you want to see about how that works, please do go along and have a look at those. And it may be that you decide that you want to just write down something about this. You might want to date it, put your initials on. I'll just put Castleford 10, because that's what the pollution levels are. Maybe that you don't want to do that. You just want people to look at it and go, what's that? And you can say, oh, that's my pollution pod, whatever. I think this is the joy of experimentation. I think this is 10 seeds. No, the barley's not liking it. It says, got 5 in, but it has only 9.8. So there's 10 seeds. Now I am actually going to come back to you and to finish off, just say, do look at all the different places you can go to, as well as your own sort of garden, local garden and park and everything, to gain inspiration maybe for making other things like this. Do go on the DEFRA website and find out about what these pollutants are and actually see what's happening in and around Wakefield. And I'm going to finish it by actually writing into clay is so wonderful. I'm going to write Festival of the Earth around it, Festival of the Earth. There we go. I'm going to put my initials on it, JDN. And then I think I'm going to choose maybe one of my favourite things, which is, I just do love these dried hydrangea petals. They're so delicate. And if you take one off, I'm just going to put that, because this is about, I don't know how old this is probably about 2 or 3 years old. And it's just like, so special. I'm going to put that on the top. Still lost my 10th barley, piece of barley. Put that in there. Okay. Doesn't just really. You have to show patience. There we go. And in a week's time, this won't look like this. This will. I don't know what will happen to these barley seeds. Maybe they will germinate. I don't know what happened to the sweet pea seeds. They may germinate. If I help it along with a reused piece of this plastic that has been going for years, if I put this over the top and just gently put this round it, it will help the first few days to help it germinate, but also the clay will shrink. It will probably change colour. But there we go. That's Castleford at 1 p.m, the monitoring point, the number of particulates. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and let's enjoy the Festival of the Earth.